popular demand. This is the Turnbucklepad Podcast on YouTube.com. Respect wrestling or get out. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and people around the world, welcome back to the Turnbucklepad Podcast Season 2. If you've been following, you already know we've been working with Warzone Wrestling out of North Carolina. We've had a lot of really cool stories and a lot of awesome people who are in this business coming from the company. And today, for all the ladies out there, we didn't forget about you. We have today a very special guest. I got to speak with this young lady and hear a little bit more about her background, and you'll get to hear about it too. I want you to welcome my guest to the show, the lovely, the beautiful Miss Dani Fererra. Dani, thanks for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. You know, you told a very interesting story to me before we got started here, and I think you're the first person who actually started off in wrestling very young on the show. Why don't you share that with the fans?
Okay, yeah, I started originally training when I was 11 years old up in Indiana, where I'm originally from. I am 19 now, and I didn't literally get into a ring, have my first match until I was about 17, 18 years old. And I've been in the business for about 2 years now, so.
But you've been soaking up everything in all that time beforehand, right?
Yeah, I was soaking up any information I could, because I was brought up to this point where I was taught that you do not need to set foot in the ring until you have literally a ton of experience training and just to like protect yourself plus a lot of other people too, because you just don't want to go throw it in there. So I was trained to just soak it all in, learn, and then set foot and have my first match.
That's a great way of learning too, because there's not too many companies who really teach that anymore.
Oh no, not at all.
Yeah, so tell us, what got you into wrestling? What made you like it?
I was watching it on TV, to be honest. It was back in 2009. I was laying in bed, and then I was flipping through TV, and it was John Cena and Randy Orton. Then that feud was going on. And I watched the whole show, and I think it was main event, because that would be like a main event match anyway. And then I wanted to see if there were like female workers as well. So I started watching like Trish Stratus and Lita. Okay. And then that got me hooked then with Trish and Lita, that feud. So that's what made me really want to start wanting to wrestle.
It's amazing how that works, because you mentioned earlier you're a sponge and you've soaked up everything you could get. And I'm sure you might agree with this, that it's amazing how matches that I may have seen when I was younger inspired me, and now matches that you've seen that are kind of recent to me have inspired you. So it's just funny how that circle keeps giving and it keeps the business growing.
Oh yeah, that's how people get into wrestling. I mean, there are some people that don't watch the wrestling and they just show up just want to get in the ring and wrestle. But then you have some like me and like you and all that. We just sit there and we watch wrestling and we become a fan, and I love it. I love every second of it.
It's the way it should be. What's been
Oh yeah.
Tell us some of your high points so far. What are some moments that let you knew that this is where you belong?
Oh, you might believe I've done, what was it? I faced Rebel I faced Rebel up at, I think she's in TNA now, or Impact, whatever they're called now.
Rebby Sky?
And, no, I think her name's Rebel.
Not Matt
Rebel.
Hardy's wife, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No. Her name's Rebel. I don't know if she's still in Impact. She's with the Dollhouse. She used to live in the Dollhouse. But I wrestled her, and like then on, I was like, I wanted to do it because I wrestled a name that I was like 8 months in, and she gave me such good feedback and everything. And every match I had since then, I realized that this is something I wanted to do. Because at first I was kind of iffy about it because I didn't think I could be able to do it. You have that when you first start. I don't care what anybody says, you have that down moment. You're just like, is this really me or what? But then you get those matches, you get that experience, like, yeah, this is something I want to take a career for. And then now I'm taking it by storm. I'm traveling everywhere. I'm getting tons of opportunities, and I knew this is something I want to do and take part with it.
It makes sense, too. One of the things we talk about a lot on the show is like the evolution of wrestling. What makes it great and where it took a downhill spiral. And considering you're a sponge and you pretty much know your history, where do you think wrestling took a weird turn where it's like it lost that specialness?
Like whenever, okay, sorry, WWE, they took a bad turn. Like I think once the Attitude Era went off of the WWE, I think, and then they started going wherever they were going with it. I wasn't entertained with it anymore. I thought, so like I said, I saw it back in 2009, but then I did my studies on it, like watching the Attitude Era. I was always watching on YouTube because I think this is whenever the network wasn't even a thing yet. But I went back to like watch the old stuff, and I was like, man, this is pretty cool, And then I go back to keep watching it back where I started, and I was like, man, Attitude Era is where it's at. Where does this turn go from? And I thought like WWE kind of lost sight of what wrestling kind of was. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Now they're starting to get back on the track of with the brand split with SmackDown and Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're starting. So I think it's like when they got rid of the that part of the Attitude Era and everything. That's just my opinion. I could be totally wrong.
Those were great years.
That's just me.
The Attitude Era were great years for wrestling fans. You had, and we've talked about this before, the Attitude Era was so great because how much wrestling was around on TV. I mean, you had 5 out of 7 days of wrestling to watch every night.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the Attitude Era was literally the best part of wrestling. I don't know, like they got away from what they lost sight what they were doing, and then now they're starting to get back on track to what they were doing.
Which is good too. I think that brand split it made I think it makes a big difference. I think a lot of people they like to be entertained by a story, and a lot of people like the physicality, the wrestling part of it. Which side are you more in favor of? More of the storytelling or the physicality?
I like the storytelling. I think that's what wrestling should be, is a story. You're supposed to go out there and tell a story. Because I think the fans really connect with it more.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I think they connect with the people, they connect with us more with the story, because they get really behind it. Like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen next week, or what's going to happen next month, what's going to happen next. They stay tuned and they just concentrate on it.
Yeah. Now, back in the Attitude Era, we talked a lot about this, and around that time, the internet and social media, well, social media hadn't came around yet, but the internet was just taking off. Have you seen a difference the way wrestling's evolved once the internet got involved, or do you think it's still roughly about the same?
I kind of think wrestling kind of ruined wrestling there it kind of ruined it to me. Because you got like a lot of freaking spoilers coming out for stuff. And then it's like, like they used to do these surprise returns or whatever. It's like, well, I just already knew he was going to come back like a month ago. So, I mean, I think it takes the fun out of it as like the surprise aspect of it. But people like me, that it has a pro and a con. Like for people like me that are in the indies, the internet's helping because we're getting our name out there. We have social media to like plug our name out, we can go over, travel all these places, and our name's getting out there. So like I said, it's a pro and a con. It ruins it, then it helps people. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Would you say it depends on the promoter or the person?
Yes.
So where do you think, because I know now that kayfabe's dead, and there's a lot of people out there, and I think places like the state that you're in, Tennessee, and West Virginia, North Carolina, places like that, they still have that value of kayfabe, but you don't see it too much in cities.
Oh, no.
Any idea why?
I don't know what kayfabe is anymore.
Well, kayfabe originally meant to sell your product and don't tell anybody how you do it.
Yes.
That was the term for it. So, one of the hot things going on right now, maybe we can get your perspective on this. As you know, a lot of people have goals. They want to reach the WWE or New Japan Wrestling, and they reach such a level that, maybe they're just blind to the fame or whatnot, but when they go about their daily lives and then what they do in their personal time makes the internet, do you think people need to be a lot more smarter in this business? Don't put your personal life out there when you're representing yourself as a worker?
I do. I think if you're representing me, because like I have like two pages. I have my personal and I have my business page. I was told by Kid Cash, who's my mentor, he always told me, never post what your personal life on your business, because you don't want to know what your fans don't want to know about your personal life. You don't want them to know about that. So you need to take your business like your business is your business, your personal is your personal.
Amen to that.
That's what that's what it should be, because I don't want, like I have a little sister. Like I'm not going to post my little sister all over my business page. There's there are some creepy people out there, and I don't want that. I don't want them to see my 5-year-old sister. So I keep that very personal to me. I just concentrate where I'm going to be at. If I'm making an appearance somewhere, I'll post that. Or if I'm going to be in your state, I'm going to say this is where I'm going to be at. But I'm never going to post anything about my personal. And a lot of people now that I see, a lot of wrestlers, they do post about their personal. And I would not going to do that, because, like I said, business is business, personal is personal.
That's true. And to kind of touch on what you're talking about here, right now the big trend and the big topic right now is a couple of the female wrestlers in the business, they had some tapes leaked out to the public because they were hacked by somebody else. And this has been like a 50-50 thing. They say that people were wrong for making the tape and what they do in the privacy of their own room, but the other half says, no, they're not wrong because it's their own personal business. Where do you stand on this?
Me personally, I wouldn't do the tapes like that. I wouldn't do that, because you never know, It could get out there. Someone could hack and it could get out there. That's what personally that I wouldn't do. So I'm kind of like in the middle defense of it. Like I said, it is the privacy of the own home. It is the privacy, but then I don't agree with it because it could get hacked. It's kind of like a 50-50. They go either way.
Yeah. So you'd probably agree with the statement that technology can be your best friend or your biggest enemy?
Yes, it can be.
Yeah, I think it's been proven. So you mentioned that Kid Cash was your trainer. How did you get hooked up with Kid Cash?
Okay, I became my best friend. That is her dad. And I had no idea that was who her dad was. I was at my local gym that I wrestle for, Evolution Sports Gym. And we were sitting there, and my promoter that I work for, is like, so, how's your dad? Oh, he's good. Is he still wrestling? I shoot over. I was like, your dad wrestles? I was like, this became, it was about a month about me and her being friends or whatever. And I was like, I didn't know your dad wrestled. And she goes, yeah, he's Kid Cash. I'm like, what? The Kid Cash, WCW, ECW, TNA, and Japan. And she goes, yeah. I was like, well, dang. So she's like, if you want to go meet him, I was like, I could take you to Nashville with me. She's like, oh, sweet, okay. So I go up there and I go to Nashville, and we were watching his MMA fight that he had. And we just got talking about wrestling or whatever, and then I asked this question. I was like, what do you think about my work? And one thing about Kid Cash is he's brutally honest with you. He's going to be honest with you. He's like, if you suck, he's going to tell you. So I was sitting there, and all my friends, she's like, oh, no. I was like, oh, I probably made a boo-boo. But he told me, he's like, kid, he goes, I see potential in you, and he goes, I want to help you. I was like, for real? Because I guess I want to train you. I was like, giving me everything to change my look and everything. So last time he was here, I think it was like last weekend, he came in and we did like a one-on-one training thing, and it was like an hour workout and everything else. So he's been helping me and to get where I'm at today, and I've got so many good opportunities because of him, and I couldn't be happier.
That's awesome.
So that's how
Kid Cash is a great worker, and his work spoke in volumes. I remember when he debuted in WCW, and when he was in ECW, a very young version, his work was just phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. I am a big fan of Kid Cash. I've always been a big fan. Like I said, I had no idea that was my best friend / sister's dad. I was like, what? And I'm so thankful for him helping me, because he doesn't help a lot of people.
I can imagine that.
Huh?
I can imagine that. He seems like one of those guys that just, he wants his business to grow and he'll help anyone. It just seems like he's that kind of guy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He's a cool guy, and like I said, I'm very thankful that he's taken the time to help me and help, because he knows I want to go somewhere with it. I want to go far, and so he's helping me any step of the way, and I'm so thankful about it.
Well, that's awesome. This has been a lot of fun. And fans, I really hope you're eating this up and enjoying it, because if you take into consideration that she started off as she was 11 and spent years doing her homework, then got into the business, that's a great pattern to follow. Do your homework and soak it up, then learn how to use it. So I got a question for you, Dani, and we ask this question to everybody. And you being, a female worker, I'm gonna tweak it just a little bit. What advice would you give to a young lady who wants to get into business, or who is new in the business that maybe to some degree might still be considered a male-dominated sport?
Okay, my advice is for a female, it's gonna take a lot of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. We have to work our tails off a lot harder than the males do. You're gonna have people that are gonna bring you down anyway. I've had that happen, but I just say just keep pushing hard, keep training, going to the gym, learning new things, traveling, and just keep your head up and just keep going, and you're gonna make it far. I've seen it myself. Just do you, be confident, be yourself, and just go out there and wrestle for the fans, and you'll be fine. That's my advice. Keep going.
Those are great. That's great advice to be given. If fans wanted to find you or follow you and keep up to date on your current whereabouts, how can they find you?
Okay, I have a Facebook. I have a like page. It is Dani Fererra. That's DaniFererra. My Twitter is Dani Fererra, the same. And then I have a Snapchat that I mainly just post about, where shows that I'm at. But it's at Dani Fererra as well.
Awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to add to this, or something you want to send a shout out to, or something?
I just want to say thank you to all my fans and everything. I love you all deeply. Keep showing your support, and I'm gonna keep giving you guys giving 100% to everybody. And I just want to say thank you. If it wasn't for you guys, I would seriously not be doing what I'm doing right now. And I love every single one of you.
I can't wait to see more people like you in the business. Because people like you that really make the business go, and it's going to give us a future.
Oh, thank you. I hope so. I hope there's going to be more people like that. People lost sight of what wrestling really is.
Yeah, and the greatest thing about wrestling, and it's that one key phrase you hear almost everywhere, is you never really know. And
you never really know.
Yeah, it can apply to almost anything and everything in every aspect of this business. Well, fans...
I agree with that.
Fans, I really hope you were taking notes. If you're considering being a pro wrestler, I really hope you were taking notes during this, because there's some very good advice in here. But unfortunately, fans, we've reached our time limit with Miss Ferrara. We thank you guys for tuning in, and Miss Ferrara, thanks again for coming on the show. It was really great having you on here and getting to speak with you. Until then, fans, I'm your host, Mike Stover. This has been my guest, Dani Fererra. We're out.